Okay, in all honesty, on today's subject, which is this 8th drawing, Transcending the Ox and the Self, officially it would be a video of nothing but silence, which actually is a pretty good idea, giving the beautiful songs of the birds out here and the peace that's always waiting for me out here in the woods. But I'm going to take a different tack. You know, in 1911, a Russian artist painted what Western art would call the first abstract painting. Now, in the traditional boldness and perhaps a slight hint of hubris in Western thinking, I think that today we are looking at what might be a significantly earlier abstract drawing from the 12th century, as the artist tries to capture what does transcendence look like? What does the singularity, how do you express that which cannot be expressed? And interestingly enough, when I was kind of poking around to find out really who was the first abstract expressionist painter and what were the ideas behind abstract expressionism, they wanted to be able to come up with a language independent of form and subject as limited by the senses or as limited by the visual world. And I thought what an interesting statement that was, that I could broaden that out as a statement for spiritual life, that we're interested in a knowledge that does the same thing. So it fits the definition. Today's painting fits the definition of an abstract artwork. And even that points to the nature of the painting, to be independent of the restrictions and limitations of the central references in this world. This piece of artwork with a circle, without boundary really, a very softly drawn circle, and a soft, effulgent light sort of gently emanating from the center and yet not really calling any attention to itself. We have a circle which represents infinity. It has no beginning and end. You just keep circling around. It's a good time to remind everybody that quote by Swami Vivekananda where he says, the reason everything in this creation goes in circles, whether it's electrons in an atom or a sun around a galactic center, that everything travels in circles because it's the closest representation of the infinite within the finite. God is a circle whose center is everywhere. And then finally the promise of it. Sri Ramakrishna saying that all of us will find it. All of us will come home. All of us will get fed. Some at breakfast, some at lunch, some at dinner. And I'm afraid at least me and a few others will be having a midnight snack together. We're going to know pure love someday at a level with no end in sight, with infinite love to give and nothing to receive. And the beautiful part about this series is that it doesn't end there. There's still 2 more paintings to come, 2 more drawings. Like Sri Ramakrishna's story about the men who hear a party going on and they go to look for it and they find a huge wall, and so they put up a ladder and they climb up. The first one climbs up and looks in and sees such a beautiful sight, so much merriment and happiness. He climbs over the wall and goes in and leaves the other 2. Hey, what's going on in there? No one to tell them. And so the second man goes up, and it's only the man that goes up and sees, but doesn't jump in to partake himself, actually turns around and comes back to share it with those at the bottom of the ladder. And they betray a beautiful essence, which we'll talk about tomorrow.